Does gravity measure by existing mass of the planets or existing force of their inner cores?
Yes, this video clip I would like to make to respond to the gentleman, which one we had some discussion about gravitational force over the Saturn. According to his calculation, when I noticed, he's absolutely right. But let's see how accurate it is, those calculations. He took the calculation, Isaac Newton's formula equation, which one he took the F equal m1, which one he took as a mass time mass 2 and divided by distance, and this is his equation. By then, Isaac Newton, even though he was able to know truly how the gravity works, but he didn't know where was the source of the gravity. And until now, the current scientists, they still use the same equation, to measure the gravity force over other planets. Actually, that's not always true, because if you look at it, how you can say that the live person and the dead person, they have equal energy within them. It's obviously impossible, because the live person has energy, but not the dead one, and that's a fact of the life. And you may think, why I'm comparing the planet with the human life. The reason why, because we have the same energy within us like the planets or the stars within them. Exactly the same planet with the lower level. That's simple. And even though our cycle goes shorter than the planets, but the only difference between the life form and the planets are the cycle. They take longer cycle. We take shorter cycle. It's that simple. Now let's take this equation, which one pass on us from Isaac Newton. Here now, this equation is already obsolete, because let's see what it says in this equation. What exactly mean this? M represent the mass of the object. What mean that? I mean, he actually thought the larger the object, the larger is going to be the gravity force. That's not always true. Let's check it out. Why is that? Planet Saturn is so large, 760 times larger than Earth, and it has close to or less gravitational force. Now, according again, to the gentleman, which one he sent me all those equations, he's right. According to this equation, which one passed on us to by Isaac Newton, but truly you cannot use the mass to measure the gravitational force, because the mass and the gravitational force are two different things, because the mass doesn't produce gravitational force. If that's the case, now every time when on the surface of the Earth, people they collect pile of dust, or they make a cement any shape, they feel some gravitational force bursting out of that shape. And that's not happening. The reason why? Because the mass doesn't produce gravitational force. It's actually the whole gravity comes from the concentration of the gravity, not mass out of the mass. This is the reason why the planet at the beginning, the gravity force it has more than the size of the planets, and it decreases when they age accordingly, and they go on until it actually left with nothing, with no gravity in it. And we have beautiful fact throughout our solar system. Again, let's go down from Mercury all the way down to Pluto, and take a look. The one thing that the Saturn's moon, one of the Titan, how much I checked it out, I couldn't find out what's the true gravitational force on that moon, but it's larger than actually Mercury itself, but it has less gravity, so much less that imagine the person, if they hit themselves to the ground, they can fly into the space and never go back again. But I'm positive it still has some gravitational force. That's why it's still rotating around the Saturn. That's a fact. If it didn't have any gravitational force, it could have already traveled throughout the solar system, toward any planet, or become turn an asteroid itself, obviously. Now, again, how I said, if you check this, according to Isaac Newton, this equation, it's already, obsolete, because Mr. Isaac Newton, he took the size of the planet to calculate the force of the gravity. That there are two different things. Size of the planet is another thing, then the force of the gravity another thing. Okay. Now to calculate true gravity force over the planet, we have to see, how much that planet has vacuum in the space over the surface, like Hg. Like for example, our Earth has 29.92 over the surface of the ocean, and goes, it decreases slowly. The reason why, because the energy, how I explain, you see, it has layers and layers and layers. Each layer it travels certain distance, and this is the reason why when we traveling outwards toward the space, suddenly the gravity is decreasing, even almost it's losing all the strength. That's another reason why when you see the people that travel over 60 miles and suddenly they feel that they're floating in the air, because the gravity is decreasing so much that nothing is pulling them down toward the ground. That's the reason why they're floating in the air to begin with. What it happened because has less gravity force in upper atmosphere. And the same, this is the problem why I disagree with that gentleman to begin with. And if he noticed that I was kind of rude toward him, I do deeply apologize for that. I didn't mean to be rude to him. I couldn't explain in short sentence, that his equation is correct according to Isaac Newton's formula, but that formula is already obsolete, because I can have plenty of fact to prove that. I said, I compare with human life, but I can bring even more fact that energy concentration is different than the mass itself, because at the beginning of the formation of the planet they have more energy than their size, actual size, and it's decreasing until they turn big like the asteroid themselves, and until they end up crashing other planets. That's the way the gravity works.